from 16 News Now.
George Mallet here with Lauren Moss. We're coming on the air with breaking news. There has been a shooting incident at Martin's Supermarket right in the heart of Elkhart.
Yeah, this happened at the location off Jackson Boulevard. We are learning several people have been killed. So let's get right to it and go out to our Natasha Cassell, who's live at the Martin Supermarket. Now, Natasha, you've been out there all night. You've learned new details. What can you tell us?
Lauren, it's a sad day here in the Elkhart community. As I can confirm, 3 people are dead and 2 officers were hurt in a shooting inside the Martin Supermarket here on East Jackson Boulevard. We're going to take you to some live video here. As you can see, is completely blocked off all the way from Jackson Boulevard here to the Fiesta Mexicana supermarket, along with the River Point West apartment complex. As you can see, it's still a very busy and active police presence, but there's still very little information we can confirm at this time. Right now, we don't know what part of the supermarket this occurred, and we do not know what led to the shooting exactly. But we can confirm that 2 officers are in stable condition after engaging with said suspect, and the suspect is one of the people who are confirmed to be dead. That is all we can confirm at this time, but as you can see, it's clearly still a very busy, active scene and active investigation, but it has now been turned over to the Elkhart Homicide Unit. As you can see, some officers are still going back and forth in between the Martins. But yes, sir, guys, it's a very sad day out here in Elkhart. That's all we can share for you right now at this time. For now in Elkhart, Natasha Cassell, 16 News Now.
All right, Natasha, stay put. We're going to be checking back with you, Natasha Cassell, tonight.
And our Joshua Short is live in the newsroom, standing by with the latest. Josh, we know you've been making calls all night to your sources. What can you tell us?
You know what? Let's take a step back here because we were all caught off guard when this news came in just before 5:30 this evening. We were literally in the newsroom when we heard the same scanner audio, that harrowing audio that you hate to hear about there being a shooting inside of the supermarket. This one being at Martin's, which is a sickening, eerie sense of deja vu for folks in Elkhart, because there was another shooting at another market years ago forgive me, I'm getting a call from sources, as you can imagine. This was on the Bristol Street supermarket. So if you guys are familiar with that area in Elkhart specifically, in 2014, there was a shooting that was eerily similar to this. There were 3 victims as well in that shooting. I have spoken with several sources in the last hour, trying to get a grasp on what may have happened. We've gotten our Natasha Cassell out there with that brand new reporting as well. I'm just going to try my best to supplement what we know here. I can tell you that according to a couple of sources that I've talked to, there was some sort of an ISP related, they led officers. I'm going to put it the way that I was told. They led officers to the hospital down the street from where we are at Memorial and South Bend. So based on what we know, there are 2 officers who are in Memorial Hospital in stable condition. We have that live image, in fact, and we're seeing right outside of the hospital. This is right near the emergency entrance of the hospital. You see the fire truck there, and you see the patrol cars there. When our photographer first got there, you can still see it's busy right now. He said that he saw about 12 cruisers outside, police cruisers, South Bend mostly. But obviously, we're thinking about those officers, right? All we know is that their conditions are, quote, listed as stable. That is what we know right now. The emergency entrance is cordoned off by hospital security. We're obviously waiting to get word on any update on those 2 police officers who were shot after engaging with that suspect. A lot of people on Facebook saying that they've seen on the toll road they were pulled over because there was that police escort of these 2 officers from Elkhart into South Bend at Memorial, where we're seeing this presence right now. Again, what we know, 3 people killed, one of them being the shooter, 2 other officers in that hospital you just saw. Guys, this is, it's really heavy on a lot of folks. Lauren and George, as I bring you back into the conversation, you guys talked about it. People are shopping Monday night, right? Yeah. And you see this, you hear this. I'm hearing from folks who are inside. It is just harrowing, to say the least, and we're still trying to get that on the record as well.
And Josh, I think you were standing there as well when we saw Jessica McBriar talking to reporters, and she was clearly emotionally shaken by what has happened.
Look, she is the spokesperson for the Elkhart Police Department, but she's human too, right? And also, Before she was there, she was in law enforcement here in St. Joe County. And so she's been around a lot. She's seen a lot. So to hear her choked up in that moment, it says a lot about the veracity of the situation, right? And it really tugs at your heartstrings because you're thinking about everyone involved. Lauren Moss, I know you heard from folks as well who live and work right near that scene and what they saw moments after that shooting happened.
That's right. I mean, I know people who work right across the street, and they said the amount of officers did not stop. They were pouring in as we were on the air at 6 o'clock tonight. Really just a devastating story, and our hearts go out to all the victims and the police officers' families as well.
And when you think about when police officers get shot, that blue line becomes all the more blue as we take a live picture again out here at Martin's. I wonder if we could actually go back to Memorial Hospital, though, and take a picture there. That's where so many law enforcement officers have gathered, because we do have 2 officers hospitalized, and Josh pointed out that they are in stable condition, which essentially means their condition is not changing.
Right.
We don't really know the extent of the injuries other than that. So.
I know, it really is when you see that. And again, so many people are writing in saying the chaotic scene inside the supermarket. Again, this was right before 6 o'clock on a Monday night. The amount of families grocery shopping, you can only imagine. So many people said that they hit the ground, that they started running. I know, Josh, you spoke to some people too, right, saying it was chaotic inside.
Yeah, in fact, we're getting a clear picture about what happened inside. And I'm going to do something I try not to do often, is go right on my phone and tried to get the information directly from what viewers told me. Someone said to me that their husband, who works there for 30 years as a security officer, was pretty shook up by what they saw. And it goes into vivid detail about what they saw. And it is hard to almost understand and wrap your head around. As journalists, right, we have to report the news, but imagine those who saw what they saw. And keep in mind, it has been a busy night for officers in both St. Joe and Elkhart counties. And so you think about all of what they have to go through, and then dropping everything to assist their brothers in blue, as George so ably said moments ago. I think that's important, that there are 2 officers who, as of last check, are in stable condition. And so now the focus shifts to not just those 2 victims and, of course, the 2 who are in the hospital, but about what happened here. What led up to this? We still don't know if this was a robbery based off of Natasha's reporting. I know she's still getting information as we speak. We don't know what was going on inside of their moments leading up to this. We know several people were shopping. That one thing is clear, because we are still getting several calls from some of the folks, some of the customers who were inside that store about an hour and a half ago, guys. Again,
and what we can tell you, 3 people dead, including the gunman, right? And 2 officers hurt in this situation.
And Josh, thank you for working your sources on this thing. We're going to wrap up our coverage for now and return to regular programming. But just to recap, we have 3 people dead, a gunman, and 2 other people at the Martin's supermarket right in the center of Elkhart.
Right, on a Monday night right before 6 p.m. Again, we don't know many details about those who were injured, those who were killed. We're going to be on this story all night long, so keep it right here.
Well, the very latest tonight at 11.